So if you keep telling yourself that I'm never going to make the same mistake again in trading, like you did some silly mistake and then you don't want to repeat it, okay? But then you keep repeating it and it keeps happening again and again every week, then you don't have a strategy problem, you've got something deeper. It's a deeper issue that is deep within you in your subconscious programming. And we're going to talk about it in this video so that you understand a bit more why you repeat the mistakes. And if you're repeating the mistakes, you're never going to get better. You're always going to stay stuck. So this is an important video, so I want you to watch this to the end. Okay? So there are 5 main points that I'm going to go through in this video. So make sure you watch this through to the end and let's get started. Okay? So the first one is that you have these emotional triggers, okay? So you basically get triggered by all types of emotion and you don't understand. So there could be emotions like fear, greed, impatience, which leads to impatience. These emotions are basically making your decisions. They are so powerful that your nervous system reacts and it takes over and you don't know why. So, for example, you've got fear. So maybe you're fearful of taking the next trade and then you don't take that trade, you don't get in when you're supposed to, so then you miss the trade, okay? So you have fear of execution, or because basically you remember losing the previous trade and you don't want to repeat that. So that fear is keeping you frozen and you don't know why, you just can't help yourself. And this happens to everyone, okay? So, but there is a way out. And then maybe you have FOMO, so you fear of missing the trade, so then you take a bad trade and you know you shouldn't get in yet, and you still end up taking the trade, and then it goes against you, you get stopped out, and then that triggers other emotions. Now you get mad, you're angry at the market, you're angry at yourself, now you want to double up on your revenge, you see? So you're basically being controlled by emotion, 100%. It's not even logic. It's not even your logical prefrontal cortex that is thinking. This is coming from your amygdala. It's the basic human instinct. Do you understand? And so these are emotions that will trigger you subconsciously and you don't know. It's like your decisions in trading were made already even before you opened the computer, even before you opened and looked at your charts. You already subconsciously were feeling fearful of missing the trade, or fearful to take the next trade because you had a loss. And then there's greed, okay? So you might have some kind of lack in you, and then that makes you greedy. So now you double up in your lots, and you know you shouldn't be going all in so big. You see? So then every time there's money involved, it's going to trigger your emotions one way or another. And those emotions are connected to your nervous system, and that is what's making you act out, react. You see, you're not meant to react, you have to respond to the market. That is the difference. That is the self-mastery that I'm trying to teach you guys. So having the awareness is key, okay? And the thing is, which part of the awareness do you have? I mean, most traders know they shouldn't be doing it, and yet they still do it, and they repeat it every week, you see? So they never really break through, they never really get better, okay? So they're aware of the problem, but they're not aware of the solution. And then there's the high-level awareness, which is where I'm coming from, is awareness of the problem, and then awareness that there is a solution to fix it, and regulating it. and catching it out in time before it blows up in your face. Do you understand? And this is a key distinction. You have to have this, what we call metacognition. Metacognition is a type of science that is basically about being aware of what you're thinking, awareness on awareness, awareness of your thinking. Does that make sense? Like catching yourself out. That is a skill that you need to develop in trading. Like, take your brain out of your head and look back at your emotions and your state from outside, like, and catch yourself. Catch yourself getting greedy, catch yourself feeling fearful, catch yourself like when the emotions is taking hold of you, okay? Because then once you catch yourself, you can fix it, you see? You have to be calm and stable before you even go near a chart. Does that make sense? Otherwise, it's going to be the same chaos every single time. Trust me. So then these emotions come from your childhood trauma. It's childhood programming. Okay, so this is the second point. Okay, it has been programmed into you from birth. Your first 7 years of your life are the most important for anybody, for any child, any brain that is being molded and shaped. Okay, you're taking on the beliefs of your environment, your parents, your school, your friends, the kids you play with, the whole society, the culture is putting an imprint on you because your subconscious mind is so, how would you say, so young and flexible. So it's so easy to mold at such a young age. You're conscious, you're not even conscious. That's why you don't remember when you were young. Okay, you don't remember when you were 1 year old, do you? Because I don't, okay? But then there's other types of memory. There's pre-life, like pre-birth memories, okay? But that is a different topic, okay? So, because you don't have this conscious awareness at a young age, your mind is being molded by society so easily. So let's say, for example, your household, your parents were always arguing about money. There was never enough money. It was always short. Always talking about money. Oh, we can't do this, we can't buy that. We don't know. They say when you wanted something in the supermarket, when you wanted that toy and they said no, that hurt you. You see? That traumatized you to think that, oh my God, I can't have that. We don't have enough for that. As a child, that ruins a child. I'm not talking about trying to raise kids to be entitled, not at all. But I'm talking about the impact, the shock, when such an abundant and free and innocent soul, a young child, comes to the world and then they realize that they can't have what God wants them to have. Does that make sense? And so that does a lot. And then that creates this lack emotion, lack mentality. Do you understand? And with the lack creates greed or fear. So you bring that lack with you into the market, into your trading, because you are now like a moth attracted to a light bulb, and you see trading as a way to get like rich fast, right? And you think, consciously you think that that is the logical solution. Yeah, it makes sense. I was poor and traders are rich. I'm going to go and do that. But that's your conscious decision. But what you think consciously doesn't matter because it's what happens subconsciously. So your subconscious program is thinking, I don't have enough, I need to get more, coming from the lack from your childhood programming, which is in you. You see? And then because of that, it makes you greedy. It makes you overtrade. It makes you feel revenge. You see, you as a child you had that lack, so now you feel like you don't have enough, so you're going to double up on your next trade so you can have more. So you can have more faster, and then it blows up in your face. Or there's other childhood traumas like feeling unworthy, not good enough, or feeling rejected. Maybe you didn't have parents or something. There is something. Everyone has some kind of childhood trauma. Nobody had a perfect childhood, right? But I'm not talking about this and trying to tell you to be a victim. I don't want you to be a victim. I'm here to empower you, to make you understand and set you free, to activate the solution that you need. Does that make sense? Like there is a fix. This is the inventory, the demons, the shadow work that we all have to do as traders. We have to go in and we have to fix the root cause at the beginning of the journey, because that's where it all came from. So we have to fix that first. Once you can clear all of that, you can forgive everybody, or you can let go of lack. You can feel worthy again. You see, you can't hold on to profits because you don't feel like you deserve money. That's why you go trading all week and then you're up early and then you give all your money back because you don't feel like you deserve it. Does that make sense? That didn't come out of nowhere. And you do it every week, so you repeat that. You tell yourself, I'm never going to do that again, never going to overtrade. Once I'm up, I'm going to leave, and then you can't do it. You can't bring yourself to do it because you have this internal subconscious trigger that is running the show, and you don't know it. And this is killing your level up. You're not going to be able to level up, right? Like, it's not just strategy, and people that talk shit about psychology don't really understand it on a good level, or maybe they're anomalies, and the anomaly is the person that had the right programming or got it somehow without trying, and they don't realize that they are perfectly programmed. They're not like the rest of us, so they don't have the triggers. So to them, trading is easy. They learned the strategy, they didn't have any internal blocks, and then they just boom, they just took off. Do you understand? That is the anomaly that we talk about. And those people are rare. They don't even know why they're good. They just think they're good because they think they're good. Because they understood they don't overtrade, they know how to master themselves naturally, unconsciously competent. So that is the second one, okay? And then the third one, this is also why you keep repeating the same mistakes, is because you've been conditioned through the society to think that more is more. More effort. If you work harder, you're gonna make more money. If you hustle harder, hustle culture, the bullshit, if you hustle harder, you're gonna make money. If you, more sales, more money. Okay, fine. That applies to everything except trading. Not trading, it does not work with trading. In trading, it's less is more, okay? You cannot be taking C and B setups. You have to only just look for your A plus setups. Don't cope and say, oh, it's a C plus setup, so I'm going to risk less, right? You're risking less, but you still increase your chances of losing more. Like your win rate just dropped. So why you want to go there, right? That is not how you're going to get consistent. If you want consistent, you have to repeat the same A plus setup every time. You see? So it's not always more. It's more of the good stuff. And those good A plus setups probably, I don't know about your strategy, but with my strategy, I get them about 2-3 times a week. Okay? And maybe even 5 times a week, but that doesn't mean that I have to take all 5. You see? If I took 2 trades and they're good and I'm in profit, I can stop, I can walk away, I'm done for the week. Why do I need to stress myself out or put myself through risk again? Or, you know what I mean? So that is subconscious programming from the matrix, actually. It's from the matrix. So they programmed you to think that working harder and working more hours is better because you'll make more money. And if you're trading time for money, if you're clocking in at 9 and coming out at 5, overtime, all that stuff makes sense. And that is the bullshit from the matrix. It's a lie. I'm being honest with you. It's a lie, and that's why you want to trade. You want to get out of that. You don't want to be stuck spinning your wheels for another 40 years, working, building someone else's dream. You don't want that, right? That's why you like to trade. That's why it's so attractive, because it's just you. It's just you and the chart. There's no boss. There's nobody to tell you anything. There's nobody to tell you when you can go eat, when you can go for lunch, take a piss, do whatever. It's up to you. It's the ultimate free market. And so that makes it the ultimate test, because nobody's telling you not to trade. So you have to master yourself. Do you see what I mean? It's self-mastery. You have to have the discipline and the mental capacity and the IQ, EQ, emotional intelligence, to know how you're feeling and assess yourself, the metacognition. All of this stuff is what is really more important than just the strategy. The strategy is the small part. It's the easy part. You can learn the strategy in a day, but it will take you a lifetime to master yourself. You see? It really is a reflection of you. So that is what you got to do, okay? Whether you like it or not. Okay, so then let's move on to the next one. Number 4 is that you repeat the same mistakes because you don't learn. You don't want to stop and learn from your losses. So you take a loss, and then you have your lack mentality, or you're emotionally not stable, so you want to revenge trade, all of that nonsense, right? So then you take a loss and you're like, oh my God, okay, I want to take another trade within this session to fix that. There's ego as well. And then, so you don't, it's like you're running through the markets, trying to just get as many trades as you can because some guru told you that 3 trades per day was a good idea. Do you see what I mean? It's not. You need time to reflect on one trade. If you take a loss, you gotta sit down and understand every single reason why you lost and what you learned from it. If you don't learn from your losses, then it's a loss. That is a real write-off. You got nothing out of it except for a real loss. But if you lose and you can sit down and fucking learn, go through why you lost and remember what you learned, you can only get better. And you won't repeat the same mistakes, but because you refuse to, because you want to rush through and get as many trades in as you can, you don't have time to reflect. You don't have time to sit down and look at and see what actually happened, what went wrong. Do you see what I mean? So until you can journal and learn from your losses, okay, you're not going to level up unless you do that. So that is number 4. And then the last one, number 5. Number 5 is a little bit more different, okay? Number 5 is basically jumping from one strategy to another because you have your ego, you took a loss and you think it doesn't work. So the problem there is that you won't repeat the same technical problems, mistakes, but you'll repeat the same emotional mistakes because you don't regulate yourself. You still haven't mastered your emotions. So then you take a loss, your ego's butthurt, you blame the strategy instead of blaming yourself. So then you switch strategies, and then you do this every month or whatever, okay? And then you don't learn. You don't stick around long enough to master one strategy. It takes at least 100 hours if you want to just get good, right? If you want to get massively excellent, you need 200, 300, 400 hours, right? You don't need 10,000 hours. That is a lie, okay? Anybody that says 10,000 hours of chart time is actually 10,000 hours of scattered bullshit. They don't know what they were looking at. They were just stuck in a hobby, tinkering away in a shed, okay? And I did that, okay? I'll be honest, I did that. So there's a distinction between 10,000 hours and 100 hours. You only need 100 hours to get really good. It's like a pilot flying a plane. You don't get your license if you haven't flown 100 hours. Does that make sense? It's the same with trading. It's a very, elite, high stakes skill that you're trying to master. So what makes you think you're going to master it if you just watch the video once, the strategy video once, and back test it for a little bit on the weekend and think that you can go live? You need the pattern recognition. This is understanding again how your brain works. Does that make sense? You got to understand how your brain works, how it gets wired, how you recognize patterns, and then when you recognize patterns, you see things that you never saw before. You understand things you never understood before, right? And then you couple that with learning from your mistakes, right? Having emotional mastery, stability, mental clarity. That is the fucking warrior sniper move that you need. That is the person you need to become. That is the pro, right? That is how you gotta move. And you can move. You gotta change this. You gotta become this for 2026. You have to. I've been talking about identity all month, right? Because I want you to change. I know why you're stuck, because I've been stuck before. You see? So I want you to change. I'm in your corner, fighting for you, because I know what you need, and I believe that anybody can do it, especially you. If you haven't quit trading, you got the dog in you. You have it in you. You have the fight in you to win. Do you see what I mean? But you just need the guidance. So if you want to fix these loops, these negative patterns forever, then you need the real solution. Okay, you need to do the real fix and go internal. And this is what I offer within my course, the Inner Edge Pro. It's the first link in the description if you want to work on yourself, if you want to level up your trading, okay, and have your breakthrough so that you can actually start winning in 2026, then go ahead. If you're new to my channel, go ahead and like, subscribe, drop your comments below. Let me know what you're struggling with, what loops you keep repeating, where you're stuck, or how well you're doing and how your day is going. Just let me know, okay? But until the next video, you're on your own. Take care now. Goodbye.